The Bitcoin Group, the American original. For over the last 10 seconds, the sharpest Satoshis, the best Bitcoins, the hardest cryptocurrency talk. We'd like to welcome our panelists, Ben Ark from LN Bits.
Hello all.
Josh Shigala from Vaultoro.
I'm buying GameStop, and I'm holding him with my diamond hands. I'm going to hold him all the way.
Juan Galt from juangalt.com.
What's up?
I'm Thomas Hunt from the World Crypto Network. Moving on to Issue 1. Issue 1, Reddit's GameStop battle with Wall Street is turning into a war. Wall Street's bets against GameStop were upended when users from a Reddit forum decided to bet on its success instead. Now billions of dollars are at stake. The Roaring Kitty rally, how a Reddit user and his friends foiled the market. A Massachusetts man who goes by Roaring Kitty on social media helped start the social frenzy around GameStop. His $53,000 investment is now worth $48 million in value. GameStop, Reddit, what is going on? Josh Shigala.
Well, I mean, there's a thing called short selling, right, guys? I mean, for those that don't know, it's basically where you borrow. How do you make money on the way down? You borrow the stock or the Bitcoin from someone, you sell it, and then it goes down in price, and you buy it back cheaper, sell back who you borrowed it from plus interest, and you made to keep the difference, right? Now, there's this that for me, that's a fine thing. It's a good market thing because you also need to expose dodgy, shitty companies that you think will go down or overexposed, like Enron. You want to, short them. But what happens when the big players can do what's called a naked short, where they just sell stock? They don't even need to borrow it. They just sell it. They just sell it 120%, 140% of the stock outside, more stock than is available, just to crush the little guy. Overstock, famously, the CEO of Overstock, he got naked shorted all the way down, and so he had this massive vendetta against naked shorts. But now the people of Reddit have gone up against the massive. They spotted that there was a huge over shortage going on from these hedge funds and decided to just buy up. They're like, nostalgia. That's why I'm wearing my Commodore 64 hat here. Nostalgia. I'm going to meme buy this stock no matter what. I'm going to hold it with my $50, my $100, and millions of people going against these hedge funds to basically stop them crushing the market. And it went from $18 all the way to 330. I don't know where it's at now, but the shorts aren't closed yet. So people are holding. This is an ongoing saga, and it's absolutely amazing to watch. Everyone loves the Goliath getting slaughtered. This is like the good old bear whale of Bitcoin back in, I don't know how many years ago, 5 years, 6 years ago, and we all celebrated the slaughter of the bear whale. This is a similar sort of thing in the traditional markets. I love it. It's so much fun.
Ben Ark.
Well, yeah, I mean, so Roaring Kitty, he saw these people were shorting GameStop, and then he actually analyzed the company's books and realized that it was far more liquid than people thought it was, and it wasn't actually going to go bankrupt. And he kept posting on Reddit, every week his position in GameStop, and everyone kept taking the piss out of him until they started to pay attention to what he was saying, and then they realized that all these big hedge funds shorting GameStop, they were doing what big hedge funds do. They were just, picking out a company which they said was going to go bankrupt. And because they said it was going to go bankrupt, they will make that happen, and they will make a killing by shorting that company. And then the plebs rose up, and they are fighting a battle on behalf of GameStop, and then on behalf of also just attacking big finance and its ability, these big hedge funds and their ability just to play around with companies and destroy them through through these financial mechanisms and financial tools. It's quite interesting. There's a book by Yanis Varoufakis called Another Now, which he released late last year. And in it, he imagines that part of the Occupy Wall Street movement also incorporated making use of financial tools to en masse, to attack these big hedge funds. So you've got to remember with the Reddit users who are attacking these hedge funds who are shorting GameStop, the average investment is like $40 or something. So it's not the sort of money which they're going to really suffer losing. Obviously, this Roaring Kitty guy's got a lot of stock in there, but it's not the sort of money they're going to suffer from losing. But en masse, they're able to kick these big hedge funds in the balls and say, actually, we want to start taking control of these markets rather than leaving it in the hands of these huge financial oligopolies, which is, what's been the case for, well, since the beginning of free market capitalism, more or less. So I think why this story resonates so much is it does, we're aware when a story breaks, which we know somehow is going to impact the future and change things. And I think that's what's happened. I think things have changed now. People are clawing back their power over the free market, and they're doing it through through attacking these hedge funds. There are some people in these Reddit groups who are calling it a redistribution of wealth from the extreme rich to the plebs, to the normal people, and I think there is an argument for that, and it's interesting to see as a protest the attack as it continues, it's a great story, long may it continue. And I know they're moving on to other stocks as well, like BlackBerry, and I can't remember the name of the other one, but let's see how it goes, see how it continues.
Juan Galt.
Yeah, I mean, I think that whatever we saw over the past 4 years in the United States, whatever's been happening all over the world, there's a populism, something weird is going on, and it doesn't matter what color it takes or which political figure grabs a hold of it. There seems to be a widespread resentment towards the elite, a kind of awakening. In the United States in particular, there's this kind of meme going around that the United States is a frog and has realized that it's being boiled, that it has jumped out of the pot and is now bouncing around the kitchen, and things are flying, right? I think that's kind of what's happening in the United States. I don't think the whole world has waken up yet to whatever's going on, but there's a sentiment that this society game is rigged against certain people. And everybody feels that from every perspective. And so this GameStop thing has become this kind of popular revolt against the 1%. Again, it echoes Occupy Wall Street. It's much more sophisticated than Occupy Wall Street, right? We've had a few years to learn and study things, right? And a lot of friends of mine that were hippies in Occupy Wall Street became Bitcoin nerds a few years later. And so, and they're trading the markets and so on. So this is the peasants revolting against the establishment, and it's just one more form, and it's going to keep happening. It's going to happen, and I hope that it keeps happening, because the tyranny that we're seeing today is absolutely ridiculous. And of course, Wall Street is going to hit back. They're already hitting back. They're going to try to regulate, ban outsider trading or something like that, and they're going to try to punish this kind of behavior. And if they don't, then forums like Reddit, like this subreddit, or which they can just take through their own website. It's not that hard to fork Wall Street bets, and I've been telling them since they started that they were going to get banned, and they're already getting censored in various ways. They can just fork off to their own website, get their own servers, and stand on their own 2 feet, and keep doing this to every stock that Wall Street is shorting. Now, shorting isn't inherently bad. If you're taking a loan of the underlying asset and then selling it on the market, expecting the price to go down,
you might want to try to turn the video off. We're having some stream problem. Give it another try. Sorry, go ahead.
Sure. So there's nothing wrong inherently with short selling. If you're playing a futures market or whatever, you're renting the collateral, the underlying asset, and selling it on the market, expecting it to go down so you can buy it back cheaper and pay it back. That's fine. The problem is when the asset is not collateralized, and you're selling assets that you don't have, because the Federal Reserve and the banks and this weird settlement system that they have allows them to do that, and so they can actually start to suppress a market. So this is this is what happens when you're wrong on your call, and these sort of millennial-esque traders are pushing back and exploiting a market dynamic that up until now was normal. It's the opposite of what they're doing. It's the opposite of short selling. They're trying to create a short squeeze and benefiting from from that rise, because the hedge funds are going to have to buy back the underlying asset on the spot market at a higher price to pay it back to the lenders. And so I think it's great. I think we're going to see a lot more censorship and political stupidness. I think we're going to see a lot of propaganda against these people, and I don't think they're going to roll over. I think they're going to keep trying to play the market unless they completely close Wall Street to the public, in which case the economy is going to collapse. I mean, this is the collapse of the West. This is the sort of collapse of the establishment of the United States, and I hope that a new phoenix rises from the ashes.
I agree with Juan that it's really all about Occupy Wall Street. As he mentioned, the Occupy Wall Street movement about 10 years ago, a lot of people lost their houses in the financial collapse. They went out into the street and they demanded change, and they got nothing. They told the people it was a leaderless movement, that it wasn't organized. They weren't impressed with it, and they got nothing. So it's especially interesting to see now that they're back and they have a little bit of money. And they've been choosing, as Josh was saying, what stocks they want to go into. They like GameStop, they like AMC, these other old companies that looked like they were going to go out of business. So there were a lot of people shorting them and betting against those stocks. Because of that, these Wall Street bet guys were able to flip those guys, at least so far. And it keeps going back and forth day after day, whether Wall Street's going to win or whether these crazy internet guys are going to win. And it's interesting to see Wall Street abandon so many of their long-held beliefs. Like, if you invest in a bad stock and you lose money, it's your fault. Suck it up, right? I mean, everyone's on the wrong side of a trade sometimes. Sometimes people buy the wrong things, or you sell Bitcoin to buy a refrigerator magnet. There's all kinds of things that can go wrong, right? But I never asked for a reset of that. I don't think anyone here asked for a reset of that. I guess the Ethereum guys got a reset once. But other than that, the whole point of the game is that, yes, you invest and you win, you get money. You invest and you lose money. If we're going to change the rules of that game because the short sellers lost, or because these guys had a message board, do we not think that Wall Street had message boards? It just seems really ridiculous.
Oh, they most definitely have message boards. Those
they were in, like, drinking whiskey in their private clubs, and that didn't get outlawed. But now these little guys on Reddit, that's what we need to get. Yeah,
Mom, I need $500. Me and my friends are destroying the economy. Like, they're going to try and outlaw this. They're going to try and regulate. You see the CEO of NASDAQ calling for more regulation now. All of a sudden, it's just like you sort of sweat. We kind of need more regulation. These small guys, they're trying to ruin. The thing is, these hedge funds, they've got it all stitched up, man. They've had it for a while, where they own the media, they own the whispers that everyone acts upon. They have been using you through their media manipulation by shorting constantly on things, and because people deal on fear, and so shorting is very profitable because you can leverage that to all hell. But B, because fear runs a lot better than good news. Like news, 24-hour news cycles all run on bad news. You can't have good news, 24-hour good news cycles. It won't rate. So bad news sells. People are hardwired to love bad news. Like, want to know, what's happening, because there's fear and flight mode. This sort of this inbuilt thing of wanting to know what's scary, what's a threat. And so these news cycles run off bad news. So, and when you own those news cycles, you can pump bad news out, and people will follow. And so they can just short whatever they want. And I mean, it's funny, this whole thing reminds me of the days when Max Kaiser and a whole bunch of us back in the day tried to short long silver to bankrupt JP Morgan Chase because they were so short on silver. And this is another big squeeze I think is going to happen, because I think there is still a huge crush on the silver markets, because silver really does underlie, is a big threat to mainstream fiat money, even though crypto is now here as well. So they've got multiple angles now that threaten the mainstream narrative of the USD being all powerful and the euro being all powerful. And this is just so fascinating and exciting for me to see that people are like, yeah, we're just going to hold this, and it's not only hold, buy the dips, any dip that's happening, because their shorts haven't closed yet, haven't settled, so they're going to try and hold this all the way through. This is investment advice, by the way. This is no investment advice. Only put your $50 in if you can afford to lose it.
I love that Nasdaq press release where she was like, "Oh, we're going to halt trading and let our investors recalibrate, and then we're going to engage with the SEC to investigate manipulation." And it's like, okay, so you're gonna manipulate the market, the free market, and then you're going to engage with the SEC to investigate manipulation. Good. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. It's so
what's great though is all these people. You see the power of these guys, and they're able to take on big finance. These are all people who very much appreciate the proposition of Bitcoin, and what we're proposing with Bitcoin. It's a bearer asset which is out of the hands of a trusted third party, and is beyond the reach of big finance and their ability to manipulate it. So it's all good for Bitcoin that these people are empowered.
Yeah, word up.
Moving on to the exit question. Forced prediction. This time next week, will the price of GameStop be up? The current price of GameStop is $325 USD. It's up 64% today. Juan Galt, up or down GameStop next week?
Oh, I'd be shorting it.
Juan Galt comes in.
I would be out of that market so fast at this point. Listen, you buy the rumor, you sell the news. You don't buy the news. At this point, it's activism, and I'm terrified of going down with that shit. The same goes for Doge. If you have no fundamentals to go on, then all you have to go on is speculative momentum. And how much more does this have to go? I don't know, man. I'd be selling.
Juan Galt's selling. Josh Shigala, go ahead.
It's going to be up. Those diamond hands are holding. No, it is activism. That's spot on. It's got nothing. The people that are in this aren't doing it for profit. They're just doing it to wreck the other side. And definitely the normal person is going to take profit. So there's going to be some rational actors in this. Like, man, I'm taking profits right here, or I'm going short. But you absolutely know that the big funds are going massively short right now, and so that really it's kind of a silly game, because the hedge funds are going to win at the end anyway, because they're just short now with new money to go over the old. But anyway,
Ben, you fight Wall Street. Keep the dream alive.
I don't know. I think Wall Street are going to suffer because they've got their big short positions, But most of the people involved in this are willing to lose their money. However, now because of the news cycle, there'll be plenty of traditional investors getting in or trying to get in and and make a quick buck as the stock radically increases in price, and that's the danger zone, I guess. So yeah, I don't know, down probably.
GameStop only goes one direction, and that's up, up, up. Moving on to issue 2. Issue 2, Bitcoin price spikes 20% after Elon Musk adds hashtag Bitcoin to his Twitter bio. Oh, is that all it takes? The virtual currency climbs suddenly around 3:30 a.m. Eastern time, adding $5,000 in the space of an hour to trade at a price of $37,299. Musk added Bitcoin to his Twitter bio earlier Friday morning and sent out a cryptic tweet saying, in retrospect, it was inevitable. Musk's actions and the price of Bitcoin rising surge caused a liquidation of $387 million in Bitcoin shorts. The shorters are eating it all over the place this week. Let's go to Juan Galt. What do you think about the price of Bitcoin?
Well, this is very much related to what we were just talking about. The problem with the current system is that the people closest to power, closest to the Federal Reserve, closest to the real insider traders, the political elite, the corporate elite, they basically have an infinite amount of ammunition, so to speak, in this financial sort of currency war, let's say. And so they have an infinite amount of ammunition. And so what do? You can't win against like an infinite amount of ammunition. It's very difficult. Well, what you do is you get out of the system such that you find something like Bitcoin. Bitcoin is actually a kind of antidote to this fiat virus, right? I know that I'm playing with the analogies here and they're breaking down, but Bitcoin is a way to step out of their power. The ammunition, the dollar doesn't work as fiat currency doesn't work against you if your bets are collateralized in a different asset. So what we're gonna see is stock exchanges and marketplaces that are collateralized and denominated in Bitcoin, such that as you can do already, BitMEX is an example, FTX is an example where you can place bets, for example, on gold versus Bitcoin, or gold versus the dollar with a Bitcoin denominated equity or collateral, right? And that way you're actually stepping out of their power, right? You're making their bullets useless against you. And people are realizing this, and GameStop people are starting to the Wall Street bets people are realizing this. Elon Musk has finally realized it, and we all knew it was going to happen. And the corporate sort of, the corporate entrepreneurs, the billionaires that are actually, not in the entrenched establishment, that have an interest in innovation, they're catching on to this too. So I mean, I am really happy about this. I think it's great. I think that candle, I'm gonna forever consider that candle the Elon Musk candle. I think we broke 35K with a lot of strength. I'm buying 35K now. I think that's going to become support now, and I think we're going to keep testing 40K a little more. I think that there was a kind of fear in the market that we had sort of reached the local top and we're going to break back down to 25K or 22K. But I think this has changed that sentiment. So I think, I'm feeling very good and I'm feeling bullish. I think this is big.
Ben Ark.
Richest man in the world, adding Bitcoin to his Twitter profile. It's probably good, I suppose. You have to remember as well, Elon Musk, when he was, chucked out of PayPal, it was in that lull where Bitcoin came about. That's his industry. And PayPal originally was supposed to be for digital commerce on the internet in a way which Bitcoin was, like a digitally native currency. Can't remember what it was called before it was called PayPal, but that's what it's supposed to be. But they very soon realized with eGold and Digibyte, Digigold, was it called? Digicoin, Digibyte. Oh, I can't remember.
Elon's was called
Digicash. Thank you, Digicash. Yeah, with Digicash and eGold, eGold coming under US laws and the CEO facing many years in prison, and Digicash going bust. They very soon realized they just needed to bow down to regulation and not ruffle the feathers of the US dollar in order to survive. And they did that, and they were able to survive, but just becoming as a sort of settlement thing for the internet. So that's his industry, and that's something he was interested in. So even if he wasn't involved in Bitcoin's foundation directly, which there was a very good chance he was, then he would have been very aware of Bitcoin very early on, and he would have been behind the concept of it, and just interested in it as a someone who understands the technology, and probably more than most people understood the technology, particularly at that time. So yeah. It is inevitable. It was inevitable, and he's in that position now. I think Michael Saylor asked him why he doesn't make Bitcoin as part of the Tesla balance sheet, which does make sense for a big company to do that. So I think that's what we're going to probably see next is Tesla, like Elon Musk with his Twitter stock buying up some Bitcoin. But yeah. Who knows what Elon Musk's bags are like, but I imagine they're rather large. And he's been into Bitcoin since forever, I imagine.
I want to take the other side of this and imagine what it's like if you were a Tesla investor and you're against Bitcoin, because I saw a lot of tweets like this afternoon. And what they were saying is how much they love Tesla and how much they loved being, outsider investors. And we're investing in this car company and it might go up or down. And we're really risky, but we're not crazy like those Bitcoin people. And then their hero Mr. Mars, Mr. SpaceX, Mr. PayPal, all those things suddenly comes out in favor of Bitcoin, which he's quietly been the whole time. He's been joking about Dogecoin. He said that he had like, I don't know, 0.3 or something given by his friend. Who knows if he bought more at some point. The guy's the richest man in the world, as Ben said. But I just thought it was hilarious for all these Tesla investors who are so reckless to suddenly realize that there's an extra step of recklessness. And for all these other stock market people to tie it in with the previous issue, they need to get going. They need to get to Bitcoin. There's reasons that, we weren't into the stock market. There's reasons all these people were into Bitcoin, and there's still a chance for them. There's still hope. Josh Shigala, your thoughts?
First of all, Elon's not the richest man in the world. I mean, there's people richer. They're just not on the Forbes list up there, up front and center. But he's definitely the most front and center richest guy in the world. And he's rich enough. I mean, let's put it that way. But yeah, I mean, exactly what Ben said. You have a guy that had his dream of X.com being the internet of money, being able to transact over TCP/IP, having some sort of standard, kind of like it was a little bit delusional, kind of like Flash tried to be a standard when it was a centralized nonsense. So really the problem with that centralized model was that you had the ability to reverse transactions, so you had to, and so when you have to do something, that means you then become the judge, the jury, and executioner of every transaction moving through you, which adds a lot of cost and and it just goes down. So Bitcoin really solves this, and I think it's interesting though that, and I think a lot of the people that keep going up against Elon or against Bitcoin because it's not green, because of all the proof of work that's happening, I think you should think twice about why Elon, this guy that's really into saving the planet. I mean, he's so into it that he's, builds entire massive companies to try and deal with it. So he says anyway. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of the energy that is being used up by the Bitcoin network is renewables or is waste energy, or and if you can find a renewable, you will use it to mine Bitcoin or any spare. And there's a lot of research from Bitcoin miners now to find the cheapest source of energy, and cheapest as always is definitely not drilling it out of the ground, refining it, and then burning it. The cheapest is just drilling a hole into the ground until you've got so much heat that you chuck some water down there, it comes up as steam. And so it's Bitcoin is helping us lead us to a renewable energy future, by the way, just saying. But yeah, man, Elon, welcome on board.
Moving on to the exit question. Let's see. This is our new leader right here, Roaring Kitty. And let me see if I can resize the image right. No, it won't even. Oh, there it is. And you can see in the corner, he has one of his special trading implements right here, the Magic 8 Ball. And we also have a Magic 8 Ball. So the exit question is, of course, prediction time. The price of Bitcoin this time next week will be higher or lower. Juan Galt.
The price of Bitcoin? I think higher. Next week?
Next week.
Shit. Let me look at the market real quick. The weekly chart. I mean, I think we might be around the same place. Maybe a little bit closer to 40 again. A lot of things could happen in a week, man. Things are moving very fast right now. I think that the trend is up.
Ben Ark.
Sorry, I was trying to be fancy. Should we share a screen? Should we have a look at the old price on a chart? Why not? One moment. Okay, so where are we? Right, so we had that line. So we were dead cat bouncing, weren't we? Basically, the price was going down, doing its Bitcoin thing, and then you had the Bitcoin news, and now we seem to be dead cat bouncing again. So down. Sad to say, down. Yeah. Let's hope it reverses. But we had this line which we were hitting up against, and then the Elon Musk news just kind of broke that. But we seem to be then bouncing on that line and probably going back down underneath it, in my opinion.
Josh Shigala.
Ben pulling out all the stops. Yeah, look. I think what we'll hit 40 pretty hard, and we'll bounce back down. That's what I think. I'm seeing a massive amount of buying on Voltoro's OTC to gold. So that tells me that there is going to be some lower down. I trust our traders. They're very clued in. And when I see a lot of gold purchasing, I think, oh, the market's overheated. The fear and greed ratio, that's what I like to look at. And in these moments where you see a massive spike up from an Elon tweet, I tend to think that's a little artificial pump. But I feel and I hope that we'll keep on going sideways and pendling between 40 and 30 for another couple of months, because that will really set us up as a nice solid ground to slowly move up past 40 and head up towards Moonville.
And now the predictor of predictors, the magic 8-ball. Here we go. Will the price of Bitcoin be higher this time next week? Outlook, not so good. So Ben's got all those charts, but the same answer right here from the magic 8-ball. Very easy to do. Anyone could do this. Moving on to, let's see this first. Check out the World Crypto Network shop at shop.worldcryptonetwork.com. You can get Treasures Don't Float, the t-shirt, World Crypto Network, the mug. Hey, that's the mug I have right here. Whoa. You can get all that stuff on shop.worldcryptonetwork.com. Also, check out the World Crypto Network audio podcast, up to date by hand every day this week. You can even review us positively as opposed to this guy. But you can review us at World Crypto Network podcast on Apple iTunes and other places where podcasts are found. Check out issue 3. What's going on, Josh? You want to?
Hey, by the way, smash that like, drill it. Get your drill out and just put it on your like button and just drill into it, because that's what this channel needs.
And we're going to put the QR code up now. So Ben, tell people, what does this QR code do?
I mean, hopefully it's not too pixelated, because you're coming through for me really quite pixely. So
it looks pixelated.
Yeah, I could. Well, I think my connection was a little better, so maybe I could share my screen again.
Outside.
Let me share my screen again, and then we can. Okay, so can we see that? There we are. So that has 50 withdrawals of 100 Satoshi. So if you get your Lightning wallets out, your Ellen URL compatible Lightning wallets. A good one if you're just a noob and you haven't got a Lightning wallet is a wallet Satoshi or a Blue wallet. But Sphinx works as well, and BLW wallet works. Most of the Lightning wallets work. Scan this bad boy. You'll be able to pull out 100 Satoshis, and there's 50 withdrawals in that. So, even if you're watching this after it's been streamed live, see if you can tap it, because I bet all those 50 withdrawals aren't going to be pulled from it. And if you are watching and are part of our audience, then please take some sats. Thanks for watching.
This is amazing, Ben. This reminds me of back in the day when you had faucets, and yeah, I mean, I was chucking like 50 Bitcoin on top.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna regret this, I'm sure.
Oh my God, the pain. I don't want to even think about it.
Thinking about you could retire off like now.
Yeah, I know. Damn it. Instead, I'm sitting here doing podcasts, but it's all good. I love it.
All right. Well, you can check out that. We'll put the faucet code up. I thought it was supposed to still be on the screen. Maybe over here. Oh, there it is. Moving on to issue 3. Robinhood restricts crypto trading due to extraordinary market conditions. Yes, you can't buy GameStop, AMC, or other stocks at Robinhood, and now you can't buy crypto either. Robinhood restricting trading. Also, the same thing's happening at CoinDesk or Coinbase, where they've stopped trading. And why? Why does this keep happening? Why are they cutting off access to the markets? They're also cutting off access to Dogecoin. So that's who was Dogecoin for last. But number 3, why are these people cutting off access to their markets? Why is it suddenly unsafe to trade crypto? Ben Ark.
I think it's funny how you have these new funky fintech, you know, companies, and they're all hip and they're all going to stick it to the man. And then they get a big enough balance sheet and they just come under all the same state capitalist tools that the rest of them come under. So, you know, they're scared. They've got the tail tucked between their legs. It always worries me when companies stop, particularly, you know, with Bitcoin and some cryptocurrency stuff. Dare I call them cryptocurrencies? And it always worries me when they restrict access, that, you know, potentially you don't know what they're doing with those funds which they're holding on behalf of their users, and you don't know if they're completely liquid. So yeah, we've invented this bearer asset which you can hold yourself, so don't leave it in the hands of these exchanges. I understand that some people have to leave it there because they're in a trade or whatever, but, you know, as much as you can, pull it off, hold that stuff yourself, look after it yourself. But, you know, that's why we created Bitcoin. So no, it's just funny watching, you know, this new kid on the block just becoming like the rest of them, just a closed walled garden, which are under the control of state and, you know, arguably state capitalist.
Juan Galt.
I mean, how embarrassing is this for Robinhood? You know, this hipster, hippie, not hippie, but this sort of hip kind of Silicon Valley fintech startup, as you put it, you know, to now when they're pressured in to screw the people that they're supposed to be sort of empowering, right? How embarrassing. This has to be humiliating for him. This has been really bad for their reviews on the platforms, right? Something like 100,000 one-star reviews, I think, on Android it was. This, you know, does anybody have any faith in the good faith and goodwill of the establishment at this point, right? Whatever that establishment is, a corporate political Borg that simply wants to retain power. Like, despite the marketing, it doesn't matter what name they have. Clearly, they want you to join the market and trade freely, but in one direction, not in the other. They don't want you to actually win here. And, you know, I mean, to some degree, this was the case for a long time, and then they started to liberate the sort of the stock markets and letting people in. Oh, somebody's phone is ringing. They started to let people sort of trade as non-accredited investors and so on, I believe. I don't know exactly what the details were there, but Robinhood was an innovation. It let a lot of people into the market, and now it's shutting them out again. I think, yeah, I mean, this is why Bitcoin was created, to give you control over your money and not to centralize it over some corporate platform that's clearly going to play, you know, to the political whims of the moment. So yeah, buy Bitcoin.
Josh Shigala, your thoughts?
Yeah, Coinbase shutting it down. I think there's a lot of crypto exchanges that are basically running out of liquidity now. I mean, all those big hedge funds, they're buying up. There's some of the, not only hedge funds, but just people, funds, everyone is. Look, guys, the stock market is a ridiculous farce that's way overpumped. We've been through a massive pandemic and we're at all-time highs. Can it get any more freaking blatant in your face? Wake up. The whole game is a game and you're being played. You're the pawn. Get it out of there. Put it into a rare asset like gold, like property, like forest, like Bitcoin. But get it the hell out of this nonsense, this farce that you're being played on. You've been warned.
Brilliant. Well done.
I agree. Following up on what Josh is saying, it's kind of like the Matrix, where these guys thought that they were free and they were Wall Street bets and we're going to break the stocks and we're going to break the short sellers and all this stuff. But really, they were still inside the Matrix, and the Matrix followed the rules of the game. And so, of course, they couldn't win. Of course, Wall Street came back. And now they're tiptoeing out of it. They're like, what do you mean we don't need these VR goggles? What do you mean we can take them off and live in the real world? And they're starting to get there. But of course, they went to Coinbase first. So they went to a centralized exchange that doesn't even sell Doge, by the way. And now they're just slowly starting to find out about other things like hodl or holding your own keys and Bitcoin and all of these ideas. But yes, I agree with Josh. It's like the world's slowly waking up, and they're looking around themselves, and they're trapped in this matrix video game. And
what's really exciting is all this stuff is like encouragement for, you know, things like RGB assets and, you know, having decentralized stocks which can be exchanged in like ways in which we don't have trusted third parties, and kind of like a decentralized Bitcoin exchangey type way. This is why I think the GameStop, it's not just a meme, it's something more powerful than that. Like, we need a new apparatus for moving these things around which doesn't involve centralized control. And all this stuff is made possible, and is being made possible on Bitcoin. So it's super exciting. And, you know, people like Josh as well, like innovating with Voltoro, coming out with all sorts of interesting ways of was it the Glassbox protocol?
Glassbox.
Yeah, sweet.
Exit question: will Robinhood recover from this nightmare, or will they go out of business? Juan Galt.
I mean, they're big enough that they can probably keep going. They could probably recover from this. But man, I don't know. How could they keep any face? They literally did the opposite of their whole branding. They just screwed their investors, their traders. I don't think this is over. I think what kind of marketing they're going to do now? They're going to be a joke. They must be a joke at this point. So I think they made a really bad call on this, and or at the very least, they failed to justify it properly in the public eye, as far as I can tell. And this scandal has been mainstream in the United States and throughout the world, probably, at least the English-speaking sort of Western world. And so, I don't know how they're going to get out of this one.
I really agree with Juan here. I think they went against their branding is the exact way to say it, because Robinhood's all about robbing from the rich and giving to the poor. This was supposed to be the stock platform where anybody could buy some stocks. And for them to shut that down because anybody did start buying, like, sure, they might lose all their money in GameStop. They might lose all their money in anything. That's the whole point of the stock market. That's what they're selling. That was the so-called opportunity they were getting. And they finally get out there and do it. And they shut them down. So no, I think they're in real trouble. They're going to lose the brand. They're not cool anymore. And that matters a lot more than they think. I think they made a bad choice this week. Josh Shigali. You're muted now.
Robinhood's been it's so good. I mean, this is typical sort of newspeak stuff of like typical branding, massive corp owned by one of the hedge funds that's being slaughtered right now, by the way, or large stakes of it. So they've been helping these hedge funds or the big Wall Street players front run everyone anyway. Like, you are the product on there, and they, you know, there's a reason it's free. And that's because they take your data and sell it to someone that can trade faster than you. And so I don't think that Robinhood's there all for you. This is another part of the farce, another part of the joke that's on you. Get out of it. Get into Bitcoin, get into gold, get into property, get into anything but stocks. Just get a block of land, put some lemon trees on it.
Well, Josh, you saw that one of the major investors in Robinhood is the same group. I'm going to get the name wrong, but it was something like Melvin Capital Partners. And they were the ones that were shorting GameStop. So it all came together. They're like, oh, that's where you get your money. And they're the ones shorting this thing that everyone hates and all this stuff. So it's crazy. It all came together.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this image is true. I'll just show it here. But I mean, like I'm just gonna be one of these people that just spread. I don't even know if this is true, but I'm just going to spread it. But when you see stuff like this, can you see it? It's not going to happen. But it's basically a screen grabber from Robinhood saying, "We're sorry, this order can't be cancelled as we placed it to mitigate the risk of your account." And it's a market sell of GameStop that can't be cancelled. So, and now they're only letting people buy two at a time. 2 stock at a time. I think there's so much manipulation and nonsense right now. It's crazy.
But it's really exciting to finally have it exposed. I know people have talked about this for a long time, and Josh was right earlier to mention Patrick Byrne with Overstock.com and his intense attack on the short sellers. And he had that blog and everything, and he would just keep posting, and they tried to fire him and all that kind of thing. And now it looks like he's completely right. Ben Ark, will Robinhood still be in business?
I mean, yeah, it's a horrible model. If the trade-off for, you know, getting zero fees is just surveillance, more surveillance capitalism on your behavior, that's horrid. But I think there is a certain amount of like escape velocity in popularity. I was talking about this on another subject the other day, but there's a certain amount of escape velocity which something like Coinbase gets, where they just become so popular and big, they can just do all these dick moves, and you're like, that's it, they're gonna fail, and then it just doesn't happen. They just carry on being crap. Yeah, huh?
Like Twitter as well.
Like Twitter, like all of them. And I think Robinhood is kind of there, so it's going to be a dent, especially in the business model. But I don't know, people have a short short attention span, and they'll likely forget about it and just carry on using, you know, people don't like signing up to new exchanges, so a lot of their users will just carry on using Robinhood, sadly. But, you know, there is this new army of people who are willing to chuck their money around to attack these sorts of companies. So who knows? Yeah, but the answer ultimately, I suppose, is decentralized exchanges for all sorts of stuff like stocks and shares and things. So we just got to build that out, get it built.
Yeah, but there's also front running in decentralized exchanges. So on Ethereum, like Uniswap, you see the miners of Ethereum being able to front run Uniswap trades because they see the trades coming in before they can, and they can then stop them, put their own trades in, get it through. And there's all this sort of stuff happening as well. So it's definitely not void of any of that.
What about something like the RGB token stuff, which is, you know, anchored to a Bitcoin or a Lightning transaction, so you can send ownership of an asset through a Lightning transaction from me to you?
Yeah, I mean, all of that would be great. It's just it really needs to have zero knowledge proofs. Like all of this stuff needs zero knowledge proofs. That even then, you hopefully you can get around some of the metadata that can be siphoned. And you know, if there's money at stake, people will find ways to get data that they can use to get a positive, edge. Robinhood, if you will.
Interesting.
I think they're in real trouble. And remember, if you don't pay for the product is you. It seemed pretty clear early on that Robinhood was selling how these people were trading so that other people could trade. Guy even says in the chat that their real business is to sell this data to hedge funds. So they got it. People are buying GameStop. Hedge funds, you should follow this. It makes sense. But I agree with Ben. This is a big army of people out there that are suddenly very interested in stocks. And given my own experience, and I think a lot of other people, that's only going to go one direction, and they're going to become interested in Bitcoin. Moving on to issue 4. Issue 4, Dogecoin, meme-based cryptocurrency, soars more than 800% to record high. Well-known Doge lover Elon Musk tweeted a picture of a dog posing on the cover of a magazine. It was called Vogue, like Doge. So Elon Musk is back again, this time with Dogecoin, and it's up 800%. Let's go to Ben Ark first. What are your thoughts on the rise of Dogecoin?
Oh man, I mean, don't go to me. I don't know anything about this stuff. I mean, yeah, Doge, you know, it makes sense in a world where memes are very important, that, you know, Doge is going to be pumping. And Elon, again, he keeps popping up over, I suppose, again, you know, the richest dude in the world is going to have an impact, isn't he? But yeah, I did try and get Rutzel on here, Christian Rutzel, because he's a secret Doge spy within Bitcoin. I thought we could get his comment on this, but he refused to come on. So I think he's just enjoying all his newfound Doge wealth. Probably never see him again. But no, I have very little to contribute on this. I wish you hadn't picked me first.
All you have to do when we talk about Doge is just say much wow.
Much wow, much wow.
Wow. All right, Josh Shigala, go ahead. You're still muted. Much mute.
Much mute. Yeah, Doge. You know, the thing is, we are heading into a full alt cycle. I know you guys hate to hear that, but it's true. There's irrational alt buying. It's going to go insane, and Doge always leads. I do think that we're living in such la land now. All Americans are going to get what, $2,000 each, plus every kid $500 pretty soon. Let's say only 15% of those don't actually need that money, and they want to put that somewhere. They'll probably put it in stocks and some in crypto. Let's say that they do 50-50. That's $33 billion heading into crypto, and they're going to try and jump on some of these like small cap pink sheets. They're going to jump in these ridiculous small nonsense coins. So you know, it's going to happen. It happens every time. It's going to happen again. Yeah.
Juan Galt. Oh, Juan, are you muted? We lose the connection.
I'm here. What
do you think about Dogecoin?
Yeah, I mean, Doge is really interesting because it does this on schedule. I mean, if you zoom out and look at like the weekly chart on, I think Poloniex has the longest history. It does this on a regular basis. That is a big candle. I see what people are flipping out about it. But it also always goes back down. You know, Doge has been doing what Wall Street Bets figured out in this major event. They've been doing this for years, since basically 2014. You know, they coordinate, meme the pump into existence, and then get out towards the top, and then a new generation of Doge holders is born, and then they do it the next time, right? This has been happening for years, basically 6 years now. This is a big one, but I mean, I don't see them hitting all-time high against Bitcoin. Let me have a look at the Doge USD chart real quick.
It's definitely a USD high, but I don't think it's an all-time high against Bitcoin. No,
it is it is a USD all-time high. I mean, that's cool. I think I would be selling it again. I don't know. I wouldn't be entering at this point anyway. Maybe it'll go longer, but the risk is much higher. You're basically buying the top of something that doesn't really have any fundamentals that I can see, other than being a meme currency, right? But I love it. I love to see Doge pump. It's one of my favorite altcoins, of the few that I really like.
I agree with Juan. I think this is a Doge pump that happens every couple of years. New people come in. They say Bitcoin's too expensive and kind of sciencey. It's kind of mathy. I want something light and fun where I can have millions of them, or at least previously you could have millions of them. Now they're going to say there's a unit buy it problem with Doge, and they need to print more or something. Liquidate the Doge. So we can all be Dogeonaires again. What do you think there? Josh, you got the chart up. Go ahead. You're muted, but you have a chart. It says Wall Street Bets.
Yeah, we have Wall Street Bets has taken over from Bitcoin, of course, as number one on CoinMarketCap.
Yeah, I saw that. They're very good at pandering over there at Binance. They've got that panda move down.
Yeah, the panda moves down.
But yes, exit question. Will Dogecoin continue to pump? Will the Dogecoin people enter Bitcoin next? Ben Ark.
I feel like a no coiner, you know, these no coiners you hear about, like Bitcoin crashing, and then suddenly, you know, a few months later they hear that it's hitting new all-time highs. Well, I feel like that about Dogecoin. You know, every now and then I just hear, oh, Dogecoin's pumped a gazillion%, and it doesn't make any sense to me. But you know, whatever, it's fun, and I don't really pay that much attention. But yeah, no, it's I imagine it's going to continue to exist. And who knows whether it'll go up or down. I think what Juan said makes a lot of sense, that you get these new iterations of bag holders who then just go Doge mad and pump their bags, pump their much wild bags.
Yeah, no, you're spot on, Juan. Absolutely, this is what Doge is all about. I mean, I think it's an infinite supply, right? It's not even like, it's really pathetic.
They have an inflation bug, but they might have fixed it. I'm not sure.
No, I think the creator was like, no, we're going to make it infinite, constantly inflating. But anyway, that was years ago. I kept track. But Exactly. This is what they do. They just wait for the next pump and get out. It's actually quite cool. It's kind of like the old school tontines, I think they used to call it, where you have sort of a circle of friends and everyone gives money to one person and they get to have money. And then the next time it's the next person, the next person. It's kind of like that. Doge, they hold on and then they all of a sudden exit and get rich if they can get out quick enough.
Of course, I think it goes both ways. Somebody gets rich and somebody gets poor on Dogecoin every time. Also, poor Chris Franco just keeps tweeting out the most painful things. This week he said, "I've deleted more Doge than you'll ever own." Juan Galt, will the Dogecoiners join Bitcoin next? Is this really a surprise good thing?
The mute's on fire today.
Juan's muted.
Yeah. Let's just say yeah.
All right, Juan agrees. So we're going to move on to predictions or story of the week. Ben Ark, are you ready with a prediction or story of the week? Did they empty out that faucet for you?
Oh, I don't know. I could check. Could I check? I don't know. If I might have closed the wallet. Didn't think about that. Yeah, I closed the wallet. I can't even check. Who knows? The money's in there, so it's my funding source. So ultimately, it doesn't really matter whatever money's left in there. I'll still have at the end of it. Now, story of the week. Not a lot, really. Still trying to get this Nostar Twitter thing rolled out. Some pretty exciting developments in the background of that on a protocol level. It being recognized by larger entities, but I don't know if that's something I'm allowed to talk about as of yet publicly. Released. Oh, I'll show you this. This is pretty cool. If you bear with me for a moment. Sorry. I'm an idiot. Didn't prepare. I made this for in the Room 77 Telegram. We had like a Secret Santa, and I made this for someone on the Secret Santa, and then I meant to turn it into a tutorial, into something everyone else could use for a while, but I just hadn't gotten around to it. So I managed to do that today, which is quite nice. So it's where are we? Here we are. This thing here, Gertie. So I released this today. It's pretty cool. It's like a L&D node monitor. So it's only $10, and you can connect it. So my theory is that a Lightning node, a Bitcoin node, should be secure somewhere when you don't access it that much. All you want to know is whether it goes down, and you can, if you need to go in there and get it started again. So you have this little node monitor which you connect to. You have your L&D Lightning node somewhere nice and safe and secure, and then, you have this little node monitor somewhere visible. And it doesn't even have to be on the same network. You could, just do it over the internet, have this little node monitor in your office, for example, and if it's gone down, if you get a transaction. Now, what's cool about it is, even though it's a tiny, tiny little thing, this little M5 Atom, and it only costs $10, is I've actually made a little access portal. So adding the node details is super easy. You just do it through a little web portal, which you can access on your phone or a computer. So I'm on that phone there. I'm actually accessing the web portal, which is being broadcast by this little gizmo, adding my node details and my read macaroon, and then it can tell me whether my node's down or anything. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, that was sort of off the cuff, but that's what I was working on today, and I've been meaning to get that out for a while, and it's pretty good fun. So if anyone wants to, learn programming a little bit more, I strongly encourage you to play around with this hardware stuff. It's a very rewarding way to learn how to program things. And then also keep your ears to the ground for Nostar, because some really interesting things happening on that.
That's a very cool project, Ben. I saw your tweet about it earlier. Josh Segala, story of the week or prediction?
Story of the week is the world is going to get wackier, crazier, and people are going to basically start to really move away from. I think the mainstream, the mainstream narrative of life, is going to start getting, evaporated, where people start looking underneath the curtain, looking underneath, and seeing that there is some other narratives to be listened to, and not just to hear the same thing over and over again from mainstream. So that's my prediction, is the world's going to get crazier and wackier as things start tying together.
Juan Galt, are you back with us?
I'm with you guys. I mean, I don't know that there's anything that we haven't said other than, I mean, this is, I think we'd said it all. I think this is, you know, things are getting wobbly, and society was due for a correction. We're entering the digital era, and you know, I think if you think 2020 was wild, get ready for 2021. We're just getting started.
Get ready for 2021. All right.
Yeah, I saw a tweet somewhere, and it was like, what was it? Oh, congratulations on completing 2020.
All right, and we were almost going to get out early.
Live streaming is on.
All right, go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, I'm going to butcher it now, but there was a funny tweet, and it was someone saying, you know, congratulations, you've completed 2020 training. Now you're ready to play 2021. Like it's just the training level at the beginning of the crazy new game we've got. I agree with Juan. I think that, and I've been saying this for a while, that the information revolution, which we've talked about with the internet, just hasn't happened yet. You know, it's began to happen, but I think now it's been hugely bootstrapped by all this COVID. Everyone's staying at home, everyone engaging with their computers, and people have become so much more empowered digitally. And I think this is part and parcel to this, you know, Robinhood stuff we're seeing as well. So yeah, the digital revolution has come. The world is now going to change and become a more digitally native one. And it'll be exciting to see, because I think a lot of people will strong arm the internet into working in a far less centralized way, which is why we're all here, isn't it? Ultimately, that's a lot.
And it all started after Johnny Mnemonic Day. It was only a few days ago when everything changed. Johnny Mnemonic Day.
Yeah, but I mean, everything is changing. We are seeing all these people that are getting banned off of Twitter. The cancel culture is finally canceling everything because everything's offensive in some way. And then what happens is that people remove themselves from these big silos and move to their own hosted nodes on the internet, whatever that may be, whether that's music, whether that's video, whether that's a tweet. We'll all head towards what the internet should be, and not this nonsense where we have 4 major platforms. You know, pretty much what we used to have with Time Warner and you know, large players like Rupert Murdoch running the show, and that was when you could really control every narrative. And they can control every narrative again. So it's important that we separate out, and even things like Telegram are getting too big. Folks, move away. We also need a fully good chat protocol. Ben, do you know any that are good, that are actual protocol and not just?
Oh man, I mean, I mean, there's some good ones out. Like Mastodon's good, and but I mean, Mastodon is predominantly like that Bitcoin Mastodon. You end up just kind of a Twitter, you're just running yourself, really, ultimately, so someone else is in control of it. Nostar is very, very exciting, and I don't want to do that thing where I start like taking over and doing another demo, but you can build all sorts of interesting things on it. So like with the Nostar protocol, it's just sharing information through these relays, and it's very easy to spin up these relays. So the way in which you solve the decentralization problem is that you make the trusted third parties kind of inconsequential. So it doesn't really matter if they go down, or the ones will just pop up, and they're really easy to pop up. And
relay, no, really.
Yeah. I suppose it is kind of Lightning centric, particularly because Fiat Jaff is working on it. He's like a crazy Lightning dev. But the I wrote a new, so we have like the Nostar improvement proposals, which we call NIPs. I'm not sure Fiat Jaff being, you know, South American quite gets how funny that sounds, but I've got a nice NIP which I've been working on, and it's for a decentralized marketplace. So the client, so the idea with the Nostar is you have clients and you have these relays which relay information. So a client could be a merchant with a collection of products which they want to sell, and then they send those products to the relay. And then another client, which is kind of a front of house, you know, like a shop, like an eBay or whatever, it just requests. It's all using keys as well. So the merchant has like a public key and a private key. They sign these products to say, yeah, these are my products. They send them to the relay, and then the shop client then uses that public key to fetch those products and display them on their shop. Now, so someone goes on there and they buy a product, and the purchase of the product is done, cryptographically using these keys. So it's, encrypted. So even the relay doesn't know what's being communicated between the merchant and the buyer through the buying client software. But when I say client software, it's not like you'd have to run like an open bazaar thing. This could be a service, like an internet service, which you just go to a website, or you could run it yourself. It's that kind of thing. But the website, the clients themselves are all front end, so there's no like back end, servers running or anything like that. But so I wrote a NIP which allows, so Nostar, we think of it as like a social media protocol for making like decentralized Twitter, but you can actually make a decentralized like censorship resistant marketplace using the same relays and utilizing the relays. So it's really exciting. And there's other, as I said before, I don't know if I can speak about it publicly, but there's some very interesting people who are excited about it. Yeah, hopefully I'll be able to say more next show, but I'm just very excited to be involved in it when it's quite early on, as the protocol's being built. And if anyone's interested, go to the Telegram group. It's t.me/Nostar, NOSTR. We've also got a video on World Crypto Network where we try and explain what Nostar is. It's in one of the Hack Sprint videos in the playlist, Hack Sprint playlist. We did a terrible job explaining it, but it's quite funny to watch. Hopefully we'll do another video soon and it will be explaining a little bit further more. But to answer your question, Josh, that will be the answer. When we build, so I have a client, which is a lot like, basically looks like Twitter, and it's currently being audited and refactored and the code being sorted out before we FOSS it. And then when that's FOSSed, like, it's pretty sweet, man. Like it's cool. You'll be excited. It's exciting. It's exciting stuff. So I hopefully I'll be able to like talk about it more next Friday.
Nice, Thomas. This is very like the golden meme that the ratio, the golden ratio. When you put everyone, forget it.
Yes, we're working our way there.
What's the meme?
Oh, it's looping. You can see it, but you have to look later. All right, I think we're almost to the end this week. It's been a very exciting week. I got on Clubhouse this week, so if you want to friend me on there, you can go to @MadBitcoins. Also, check out our new laptop fundraiser. We got a couple donations, so we're on our way there. You can donate with Bitcoin on-chain or with the Lightning Network at tallyco.in/s/PK9RS8. And that's about it. I think it's super exciting. Like Jason has been saying in the chat, this is essentially a war of the globalists versus the common man. And Jason thinks the globalists will win, but I think we've got a shot. I think we've got a chance.
Well, there's 99% of us, to be fair. So
99% is quite an awful lot. So we'll see how that goes. Too many screens open. I hope everyone checked it out. Give us a thumbs up and a share. Subscribe down below. Check out the t-shirts at shop.worldcryptonetwork.com. Thanks so much to everybody for joining us today. Until next time.
Bye.
I'm gonna have to look at this gold meme now. What's this gold meme? Could be pretty intrigued.
Go on.
The golden meme.
Golden meme. What is this?